I remember the day I met you. The day I met you, I was with another woman. Welcome to the Dents. I am Devon D.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl therapist Mickell D, and I know a lot of y'all like, what this show about? Let them know.
Well, this podcast is built to deliver raw and authentic conversation that is built to inspire, those who are in relationships or those who wanting to be in one. Through this, we will share our journey and insights on balancing our individuality and our togetherness while providing some advice and relatable experiences to help you strengthen your bond within yourself and or whoever you with.
Yes, sir. So as y'all hear, we're going to keep it raw, authentic, uncut, censored, just to help y'all save y'all lives, y'all marital status, y'all togetherness in relationships, whatever that look like for y'all. But for today, let me let y'all know what we're talking about today. So today, we get, what you say, babe? We get a lot of inboxes. We get phone calls when we're out kicking it with other individuals we hear from. Mm-hmm. They're wanting to know a lot about what we are, what the Dents do, what is our blueprint, how do we overcome. So today, I think the number one topic we should talk about is balancing individuality and togetherness. What you think?
Okay, yeah, let's start there. This is our first episode, so y'all gotta be patient with us. We nervous, we trying to figure it out. And again, like I said, we want to make sure it provides some value. So, you know what, y'all kind of go through this journey with us. Make sure that you like, subscribe in this page. Make sure you put comments in the comment section because we want to hear, your perspective. Because again, ours is not the only one. Everybody got one like a butthole, right? So, man, let's make sure that you put your perspective in the comment section so we can hear from you and we can all come bring it all together so that we can, have some answers that, may fit, many situations, right?
Absolutely. And I love how you said this is our very first one. So y'all are going to be able to track it from years to come, like where we started, where we finished. But I'm like, you know what, babe, let's just do it. Let's record. God gave us this vision, gave us this purpose. People have been asking about it. So I say, let's get started. I think we should start off by kind of just letting everybody know who we were before we got together, So if you can start off by just kind of saying where you were, or if you want me to start, I don't mind.
No, it's cool. I'll start where I was. Before you, right?
Before me, you. No judge. Look, y'all know that little thing that's all like we listen and we don't judge. So we not judging, okay? Go ahead, babe. Who were you before me?
All right, before you, I was a Mac trying to get back, you know what I'm saying? I was a pimp. I wasn't no simp, Hey man, before I met you, I didn't think I was really gonna get back into relationships. I think I had tried everything that I could. I tried, many baby mamas. I got 9 kids, 6 baby mamas. I tried, poly. I tried a lot of different things. And, I just started feeling like, maybe relationships just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I was just starting to think like, forget it. I'm just gonna be a Mac. I'm just gonna play my way for the day. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I was at. And I was just like fed up because I had tried so hard in so many relationships and just couldn't get a woman to get it. You know what I mean? I just couldn't find nobody who really vibrated with me on the level that I needed to vibrate on. And I was really just over it. I was really just tired. You know what I mean? Especially when you get up in age, you start getting like 40 something. Yeah. And then you just start being like, you know what? I done tried everything under the sun. You know what? Maybe it's just time for me to just accept this. Just, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of where I was at. And I just was like, I wasn't looking. Yeah. I remember the day I met you. The day I met you, I was with another woman. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I left her at the bar to come talk to you.
I didn't know y'all. I didn't know. So ain't no judging. I didn't know y'all, ladies. I didn't know.
But yeah, I left her at the bar to come speak to you. And I just kind of didn't. One thing about me is no matter what mode I'm in personally, I still can hear God talking to me. And, no matter where I want to be, no matter, how I be feeling, or it might be ego, might be just like, fed upness. It could be a lot of things, but when he spoke, I listened. And that's just kind of how I kind of was led to you. Because other than that, you wasn't going to make it, baby. I'm sorry. You wasn't going to make it.
I was gonna make
You wasn't going to
it.
make it. It
Yeah.
wasn't going to make it. It was
Yeah.
just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't happen that way. But that's just where I was at. That's where I was at. So,
I respect
that just, again, I got, most of my kids are older, upper in age. So I've kind of been through a lot of things. And a lot of times when you meeting women, I just, again, me, I got so much to reflect on that I can kind of see how things gonna kind of turn out depending on the mentality, depending on direction. So I was just over it. I just didn't think it was out there, and I was just done. So that's just kind of where I was at before you, and then God kind of spoke to me, and He made me do something different, and I just followed it. And again, it was the best decision that I made. And again, like I used to hear old folks, again, they used to ask old guys and say, when do you know that you found her, or when do you know you're supposed to get married? Because again, I'm just like a lot of other people when it comes to the tradition of marriage. Like I wasn't on that. I'm not on the license. I'm not on none of that. I wasn't on none of that. None of that. I wasn't. I just wasn't on none of it.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want none of it. I wasn't on none of it. You can have it.
Yeah.
Whoever is cool for, that's who it was cool for.
Type shit.
But
Yeah.
on a G, it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I was. And again, perspective change when you just start putting other things in more better perspective. So you made me change my perspective, woman.
It wasn't on me. It was God. Take it up with God. That's all 2025. Take it up with God. Yes, I heard that from
So
my
that's what
sister.
happened, in a nutshell. That's where I was at. And again, I'll let you talk about where you were before you met me, since I know I wasn't the only pimp.
You were not the only pimp, but you were the only pimp that kept it 100 with me and taught me the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my fair share, and before you, I lived that quote unquote societal dream. I won't say the fairy tale dream for all my hopeful romantics out there. We have a fairy tale, a hopeful romantic type of fairy tale in our minds, and I didn't have an opportunity to live that until you. However, I did live societal American dream, and when I say that, I was married before, legally married for 10 years, together on and off later on in our years, but on and off for 12 years. And I live societal dreams. And what I mean by that is I had the houses, rental properties, investments. I learned about residual income. I learned about leaving a legacy for our kids. And that's what I believed in. And I lived that, through and through. I started off as a teen mom. I had my second kid by 21, single parent. Met my now ex-husband when my second born was around about 10 months. So that's all we knew. So he was older than me, around your age, older than me. I was tired of the D boys. For all my girls who grew up in the inner city, y'all know how it is. We just love our hood dudes, our hood niggas. I
Yeah.
was gonna say N word, but this is our podcast. If you don't like that language, please tune off, right? So we like our hood niggas. You know how that is. That's all I knew, right? So just dealing with those, I was just tired of those when I met my now ex-husband, and he was something different. He was what society say is the picture perfect type of guy you want to date. But I lost myself in that relationship. I lost myself I conformed to what society said I should be as a wife other than who I was. Like, I'm Mickey through and through. Like, I'm that inner city girl through and through. So just experiencing that, I don't regret anything because I believe that everything in life is an alignment. You know, at that time, that person was that person for that time. But where I was, I lost myself. I couldn't be me. I couldn't be the inner city girl who just had hopes and dreams. I had to make sure I was this version of conformity and all of that, those things. So fast forward, I say that to say I had all those things. And when I knew, once I started healing, when I knew I wasn't really me, I tried to be me, and that just was kind of like a conflict on who I presented myself to be in the beginning, in the sense of someone who's ready to just, you know, just be corporate. And that was just it. Like, it was different for me. Like, I just wanted to be corporate. But when I realized I wasn't really being my authentic self, and you grow, I grew, I healed, and that person wasn't able to elevate with me, again, I talk about alignment, it was time to go. Growing up in a family who grew up on love, like my grandparents were married forever. My grandma was like 16 when she married my granddad. My mom and my stepdad, who is my dad, has been my dad since I was 4. Prior to that, my mom and my biological dad had my big brother, then me. Did that 17, 18. So it's like, historically, relationships was together. That's what it was since young age. So that's all I knew was marriage, long-term relationships. So for me, when I'm like, hey, I'm not happy, something not right. Society say I should be happy when I got X, Y, and Z. I have all those elements, but I'm not happy. When I go behind the door and I close the door, I'm crying myself to sleep, even on in the bed with someone who society say I'm supposed to be happily married and just whatever. And I'm like, society lied to me, because why am I not happy? You know what I'm saying? So fast forward when I got the courage to leave, and a lot of people don't realize that. People think that it's easier to leave, but no, it's not. It's easy to stay because that's what you know. It's hard to leave. This is everything I knew in my adulthood. This is the person, you know, when, again, you grow up, I am a hopeful romantic. You think you get married and it's happily ever after. No one taught me about the triumphs. No one taught me about the arguments. No one taught me about the disconnect and all those things. So when I finally realized, like, this not the person for me, and if I'm being very transparent and honest, I kind of knew it. You know, I just got tired of being a baby mama. You know, and again, this is what society says. It's supposed to be the husband. You open up the dictionary, this is what it is. But that wasn't the husband for me. And had I known what I know now, I would have never, you know, adapted to that. So we fast forward in the marriage, properties, rental properties, and then I decided to leave. I let my mom know, I let my mentor at the time know, like, this ain't for me. They tried to talk me out of it. I tried marital counseling, I tried everything, but it just wasn't for me. And I'm just like, you know what? This just not for me. I'm more miserable staying in it than to leave and just, you know. So fast forward, we ended that. I filed for the divorce. We separated. Even before the divorce filing, when we agreed to separate, like, okay, because again, I'm like, societal marriage. So I'm like, okay, we had an understanding. You do you, I do me, whatever. But that wasn't me. Like, I'm a wife's wife. Like, I'm her all through and through. I want to make my husband the happiest man on earth. Like, that just didn't sit well with me. So after that, it's like I filed. And then pandemic happened. I filed again after we can go back to the courts. And we end up getting the divorce. But in the hindsight of that, in the midst of us separating before we was legally divorced, like, I talked to people, I dated people. I ended up going at the time with my best friend and just trying that out. Again, I know what I know. So there was another hood dude. That ain't me. Like, I know what I want. So I will never forget driving, and I just praise to God. I'm like, I know this is not the person for me. And I'm just like, God, if you could bring somebody that bring me energy like I feel with, at the time, the person who's my best friend, like, but just me, who get me, where I can be Mickey and Mickell, where I can be all of this. If you can bring that to me, cool. If not, I'm good with being a quote unquote nun. Like, at that time, I was starting to heal. I understood my purpose. So I'm just like, you know what, God? If you just want me to serve you, if that's just my purpose, if you just want me to tap into my calling, that's cool. I'm okay with that. And y'all, I was okay with that for real. Like, I was like, I'm going to be a nun. Like, I just want to focus on glow. I just want to help heal people, and that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
And then here come your slick ass. Here come your slick self, right? So then, you know, we were out. You talked about the date there. I didn't know. I was out with my mentor now for my birthday. And I remember going to the bathroom, and when I when I walked back up, I'm like, who is that talking to my mentor? I'm like, who is that? Because I know her. Like, she like my bougie friend / mentor. And I'm like, if a nigga about her, that means she know him. So I walked up and it was you. And I had saw you because remember, we had saw each other in passing, but more so when there was an award ceremony, you had to present me with an award. So I already kind of knew you or whatever. And then you bought me a shot for my birthday.
She knew who I was.
I did.
She knew
I
me.
did. I did. And you hold on, you one shot from me, because let me tell y'all how slick he was. Because before my birthday, a few months prior to that, I was doing a fundraiser for my nonprofit organization, and we were doing an event for those, for whoever wanted to eat at this establishment. They will sponsor my organization, Glow. Shout out to Glow 414. They would sponsor us a certain percentage. And he's so slick because I posted this. This nigga, he went there and he bought the food so we get our donation. He sent me the picture, all of that. So he's smooth, y'all. Because I used to always think like if a dude want to talk to me, he better be smart enough to.
So let me tell you how that happened.
How it happened?
So I'm driving down the street, right? I'm just driving down the street, and I'm just scrolling. And I was driving and scrolling. But I saw your live. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, see how fast it ain't gonna take me that long to get there. So I just detoured, right? Just went up the freeway, went all the way up there. And by the time I got there, you was gone. So it was really like, damn. I'm like, fuck, I missed her. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to go ahead and go in here. I'm going to show the evidence. I need receipts. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So that's why I went in there and continued to buy and support and all that. But I was like, I'm sending this receipt. Like, I'm going to show. I showed up. So she can see him on that ass.
Yeah, and you were on it. So when he did that, I ain't gonna lie, you know, it caught my attention. Like, okay, he know how to apply a little bit of pressure. Like, instead of asking me for a date, like, I have a whole organization, like invest in the organization. That's how I used to feel. Ladies, y'all know when you just get tired of dudes, like if you for real, invest in what's important to me. Like that's the way to my heart. You can ask me for a date. You can do all this cute stuff, but invest to what's near and dear to my heart. And at the time, it was my organization. So you definitely played your cards right. I ain't gonna lie. And then I used to post these little stories of me cooking. He used to be like, what you cooking, all this. So I had my whole point of saying that is I had convinced myself I was a nun, y'all. I was committed and I was just doing me, focusing on my organization. However, God has a way of when you are a servant of God and you tell God what you about to be on, and then he show you. And I feel like God was like, let me show her real quick, because her dumb self about not dumb but dumb self about to go ahead and turn her boundaries up, put her boundaries up. And I know her stubborn self. When she put them guards up, it's a wrap, right?
Put them up.
Girl, let me tell y'all all that.
Put him up. I'm going to knock him down.
He did. I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to knock him down every time.
Yes. And we were out. He gave me some shots. I still got the video. Shout out to my homegirl, Marguerite. She captured that moment because she just knew it was something special forever. Fast forward, he asked me out for breakfast. And when I saw him.
Y'all got to understand why breakfast.
I want to know that. Because it was 12 when he gave me the shots. It was officially my birthday, and he gave me shots at 12. But in that same moment, you asked me out for breakfast later on that day. So talk about that a little bit. Why breakfast?
Breakfast. See, I ain't want to do dinner because, again, it's already midnight. Typical. What you doing after this? Nope. You ain't gonna get typical out of me, not Devon D on the G. You know what I'm saying? You see how that? I'm gonna be a rapper one day. But I already knew, like, nope, we ain't coming typical. I'm not a typical dude. We ain't finna do nothing typical. So I ain't gonna ask her out tonight. I ain't gonna say what you do. I'm gonna ask her out to breakfast when you get up. I want to see you. I want to see your fresh face, really. You know what I mean? You know, you want to see them after the club lights. Y'all know what I'm talking about, fellas. So I said, I want to see you for breakfast. Again, I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna start your day with me. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to just end your day with me. I'm trying to start your day with me. So that's what I was thinking. So instead of inviting her to dinner or anything after the club, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna come different. I'm gonna start your day with something fresh set of flowers. You know what I mean? With a nice ambience and a upscale breakfast spot. And you know what? We're gonna do this right. We're gonna start this the right direction,
You
right?
did. I remember when we left that night, I remember you showing out, ladies. So for those who don't know me, I am old school. Like, I totally believe in mentorship. I believe in that OG mentality. That's how you pronounce it, right? Hey, look, I'm interested. I got an accent, right? So, and I believe in that. And I always jokingly say, like, in my other life, I know I was against it. Like, I believe in old school. So he's so slick. When he had got me the shots, it was time to go, because y'all know my OG/mentor. It was time for her to go. And he like, it was snowing because I'm a winter baby. He like, you know what? No, let me find the car. Where the car at? Mind y'all, it was like down the street, around the corner, all this, because we walked. Anybody, shout out to my home city, Milwaukee. Like, y'all know downtown be so hard to park sometimes. So he ended up taking the keys, finding it, and he held her hand over the snowbank, and that just really turned me on, because I'm like, anybody who respect my OG, my mentor, like, you got, I respect that wholeheartedly. Like, you was slick. You was slick. Like, I respect that wholeheartedly. Like, if you love my OGs, my mentor, my mom, people like that, like, you got my heart, whatever. So he was slick. And I remember calling my homegirl that morning, and I'm like, if he inboxed me for real, he for real. Like, he asked me for breakfast, girl, for my birthday. And he was like, what you doing for your birthday? Like, let me take you out for breakfast. I'm like, but if he inboxed me the morning of, I know it's real. So I ain't gonna lie, it was like 6:30. He inboxed me. I'm like, girl, he really inboxed me, y'all. I'm like, he be up, like, he really inboxed me. So I met him. And where I met him at, it was upscale, definitely upscale. And he came around that corner. He was late. He was late. You were late, because I was on the phone with my mentor. I'm like, he a little late. You did tell me, though.
I did.
You told me it was right. You had to take your baby to school, so I excuse that. Yeah. He told me, and now I'm just like, you did. I ain't gonna lie, it turned me on a little bit more. And then I was just talking to my mentor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is with the flowers, because this sexy man had turned the corner, and it was like in the romantic movies, y'all, like when the bouquet is like covering their face a little bit. I'm like, I think this him. Nobody ever brought me flowers on the day before. Like, that was so top tier, right?
Nobody ever.
Ever. Mind y'all, I was in a relationship for 12 years. Nobody ever brought me flowers on the date, So I remember I was like, I gotta go. Like, he right here. So it was just magical. Like, we sat on that day for hours longer than it was supposed to be. Nigga, we ain't turned back since. Nope. I forgot my baby at her exam. She got out early.
When she forgot and was running late for the baby, I knew I had her.
Cause we had transitions from breakfast, and we sat in front of this fireplace in the hotel area. It was just like, and my son, because we flew to Milwaukee recently for my son's birthday, and he just reminded me, like, us. Like, I remember when she first told me, because I picked Nay up, and I ended up letting him get out of school early, and I was just like, y'all, like, I was so corny, like, oh my God, this nigga took me out one day, and I was wrapped up.
Hey man, it's in me, not on me, y'all. Y'all know
I was holding myself for a whole year before you, and then here you come, none of everything.
Absolutely.
Right?
So, what's your experience been like since we have been together? I guess that's where we go now, right?
I know, right? It's been dope. It's definitely been an experience, and it's been an experience not in a negative way, but it's been an experience because I often preach as a therapist, like. You can, because before you, I was healing for a whole year, like solid, where I wasn't really talking to people like that.
So, how you go from healing to getting a nigga with 9 kids?
Because that's a good question. Because that's the one thing I do want to tell the ladies. Like a lot of us have our list. Like I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I never had like, oh, if he got this many kids, I'm not on. Like that's just really didn't never matter to me. Cause I ain't too far from behind you. I got 4 with 3 baby
It's kind of
daddies.
double in
You
one.
know, I get that, but it's like
Double
I
in
never
one. It's
really
like
understood
double in
that.
one.
Yeah,
It ain't too
but
many.
I just know how people judge me because I was a teen mom and how I started early, so I just never really judged that. You know what I mean? And again, my grandma and then my mom always. I never lived with my mom by myself. She always embraced my cousins, not like her nephews and nieces, like whatever. My grandma, so that's kind of I was just a lover type of family, everybody family anyway. But a lot of us women, like we do miss out on, and I want to just shout that out. A lot of us women, we miss out on a potential or our person because we have these societal standards, and that's not always the case. But to answer your question on how it's been everything magical. And I'm not talking about magical in the sense of everything's perfect, everything's peaches, everything's cream. It's been magical because just like I found myself fighting to become the ultimate self prior to you after the divorce and figuring out who I am, I found us fighting to be our best self individually for the betterment of each other. And for me, that's totally magical. Like for me to be able to check myself because it's things that I healed from prior to you. But because I am vulnerable, and it's a lot of things I tell women out there, when you are vulnerable, when you open yourself up to someone, you could be healing. But that vulnerability opens up a wound you didn't know you still needed to heal from because your brain already protected that. So you don't even know that it even exists sometimes. And when you're vulnerable and you fall in love with someone and you open up your heart and your soul and your spirit and your mind, you realize, this person is triggering a part of me that I either one thought healed or didn't even know need healing. So when I say this journey has been an insight for me, it has, but it's been the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced because for you to be with someone who love you enough to work on their self, you know what I mean, to be the best version of
Yeah,
themselves for
and
you
I
is
think that's
beautiful.
where people really gotta understand, like the work that we talking about didn't start when we got together. You know what I mean? Like when they talk about us together, and I know we went through our past. We just talking about what we went through relationship wise and what our ideal of what was, but the work and the what I wanted, I already knew what I wanted a long time ago. You know what I mean? I already knew the type of person I am. I knew who I could be, but I already knew what I wanted. So in order for me to get what I want, I knew who I had to be at the same
That part,
time.
say that one more time.
So in order for me to get what I want, I knew who I had to be at the same time. So I had started that journey years before you. Even through some of the relationship things that I was going through. Oh
Yeah, my
yeah.
bad. I'm like, why is that? My bad. Okay.
Even through some of the relationship things that I was going through, I still wanted I still knew what I wanted. You know what I mean? And I knew who I had to be to get there. So I just started taking the journey, like I say, years before you. And that's kind of what my early morning podcast was, my early bird morning show. Every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, just really me diving into myself, trying to figure out more about who the hell I am. You know what I mean? Because you can go into a relationship, but if you don't know who you are, you just expecting somebody else to help you to figure out who you are, and it ain't gonna never work. So I had to, just dive into looking into the mirror a lot more than I ever have. And I know it's somewhat, again, what other people may see of you versus what you know about
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
Other people may see and think that, you're already very social, but people they know I'm a super introvert. Like I really don't. I get social anxiety. I don't really like
Yeah.
being around people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know I have to be around people. Not that I don't like being around people. It's just something, again, my anxiety runs through my blood on how to be around people. Because again, I grew up an only child. So it would just take some dealing with of learning how to be more social. So, um, so, um, I had to learn that again.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to do that, and even in relationships, um, I had to learn how to just again bring more of me to the forefront instead of just accommodating
Oh yeah.
the relationship. You know what I mean? Because men, again, we are very accommodating, especially when you love who you love and you love what you love. You're very accommodating. And I had to learn how not to be just accommodating to the relationship and to the situation to the point where I lose myself. Because
I like
I've
that.
lost myself in a lot of situations and a lot of relationships, just trying to be what I can for another person.
I like that.
And next thing you know, days, months turns into years. And next thing you know, you ain't been you in so long, you don't even know what that look like no more.
That
Because
part.
you just been in this relationship trying and trying and trying and trying
I
and
like that,
trying.
D, because speaking of that, like speaking of just being in a relationship, trying, and not really being yourself, but getting to a point where you don't even realize you ain't really all yourself. I think earlier when I mentioned being in that relationship for 12 years, I think that's what I was experiencing, is like accommodating, being who this person views to be a good wife is compared to what societal standards are, compared to what I really think. It's like finding yourself, being accommodating. So speaking of that, I think this is a great time to transition to our topic of today, which is individuality and then couple. So if it's okay with you, I got a few questions to
Oh, it's
ask
cool. Let's
you.
go.
And then we can
Let's
kind
go.
of, I
Let's
want to
go.
make it more conversational. What
Okay,
you think?
let's do it. Let's see how it goes. Let's take this in the direction it's going,
Okay.
y'all. Again, if y'all are here, man, if y'all enjoying this conversation, if y'all learning anything, man, make sure that you put it in the comments. Make sure that you like, subscribe to this channel, man, the Dents TV. Yo, again, we are here just to bring some insight, some experience. Again, just some things that we learn and things that we currently even do to keep our relationship strong. Even through the ups and the downs. You know what I mean? We know our ups. We only want our ups and downs to be in the sheets, but we know it don't just work like that.
Already. See, he started already. Okay, so this what we on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this what we on.
What?
They gonna see the growth. They gonna see me opening up more and more and more.
I'm just saying, that's where we wish they all would be, but even in our relationships journeys and everything else, we go through things, and I'm mad at her right now, so I'm mad.
You mad at me right now? What you mad at? You mad at me? You talking about that conversation earlier?
Don't worry about what I'm talking about.
See, we're gonna talk about communication. How you expect for communication and then you secretly beefing with me?
Maybe I'm
Beefing with
poking.
me.
Maybe I'm just poking. I'm just poking.
He beefing with me in his mind, and I don't even know. I don't even know he beefing with me in his mind. See, that's how it be.
What you mean?
You beefing with me in your mind, and you didn't even tell me.
I just planted a seed, and it just grew in your head.
Whatever. I'm just saying.
Y'all know how it go, guys. You can just say a little something. You ain't got to do much. It's going. That's why we don't say much.
That's why y'all don't say much, or are you intentionally trying to poke me? Because you can say whatever you want to, but I just need to know if I'm supposed to be therapy mode, right brain to right brain, where I'm understanding your perspective, or am I supposed to be wife mode, where I am who I am, and I'm going to react the way I need to react as a human. So you just let me know. What kind of conversation is this?
I would say just stay ready.
All right, stay ready. You don't got to get ready. So y'all heard that, ladies and gentlemen.
So
listen. So we talked about a little bit of who we are. This is the first episode for those who like to fast forward. We kind of talked about, so this is where we dive in. We talked about who we are. We definitely believe that you will want to know who we are, for those who don't know us. So we talked about that. And then we kind of talked about togetherness. What I kind of want to talk about is that I know we're going to talk about individuality, but I want to ask each other some questions. And the first question I have for you is, how do you make sure your personal dreams and your passions are still pursued even when you're focusing so much and supporting a relationship? And the reason why I think that is so important for the first question is because we kind of mentioned right now how you could just want your wife happy. So you'll be like, this, like, how do you keep tabs on who you want to be individually versus like where it aligns with you as the husband for our relationship?
Oh, I think this one goes to when they say pick your battles and understanding what's worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where that kind of lies in. So you will take it case by case. I will take it case by case. And I'll say, all right, is this something worth me fighting for my individuality? Or am I willing to sacrifice this? And that's a decision I have to make. And again, I have to be okay with whatever decision I choose at that point. But I think it's a case by case basis on what how much I'm willing to give up within whatever situation it is, or do I need to put my foot down in what I want right now?
I
Like,
like that. But even with that, so let's dive a little bit deeper, right?
mm-hmm,
So when it's case by case basis,
mm-hmm,
when do you know where it's either you giving into the um the sacrifice
mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
the
The
false
people pleasing,
obligation, people
yep,
pleasing,
yep.
versus it being like, okay, let me compromise this as a husband for the betterment of our relationship as a whole.
Right, right, right. Um, I think it speaks to you on the internal, but you gotta check and make sure it's not ego, and that's where again it takes some maybe a pause, you know what I mean, for a minute, because again sometimes we feel we're expected to answer things right away,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I'm beginning to be more like, hold on, let me think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just answering because somebody's expecting me to, now I'm finna just give whatever answer. I ain't thought about it. Nah, I ain't even like my answer, and because I
Mm-hmm.
felt rushed in the answer, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if this the answer I really wanted. So I just sometimes, like, let's say, take a pause and then you kind of just take your time, be like, nah, either yeah or okay, and or I'm willing, or be like, nah, I don't feel comfortable with that one. Like, that's this cool, and again, I give a woo woo and just understanding to make it have more of a meaning than the ego trip. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? More than just I need to show a motherfucker. You know what I'm
Type
saying?
shit.
Like
Mm-hmm.
more than that. So that would be my answer for that.
I like that. I like that because I think a lot of times, us as individuals, we have to realize where we have to draw that line where it's like meeting each other in the middle and compromising versus me standing on what I believe and my thoughts and things like that. So I like that as far as like how you make sure like your passions and dreams are still being met versus pursuing the stability of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Another question that came in,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to look at your questions, asked you about the wives.
I want to kind of counter what you just said, though. I want to know, like, how do you maintain your identity as a person outside of being a wife, and how do I support you in doing that?
I like that. Support wise, I think a lot of people who knew me before you give a lot of praise and kudos to that and light to that. They share light to that. Like, we knew Mickell before you. She was dope, but with you, she that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people definitely pour into that. But me, myself, I realized that. I knew it's like our first date, like
Mm-hmm.
literally our first date. When you say you're going to be good against me, for me,
Mm-hmm.
you're that for me in the sense of pushing me outside my comfort zone, allowing me to see my own light and being okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times in my prior relationship, I had to dim my light, not because they said dim your light, but because of the whether they was conscious or unconsciously knowing of the control factors. A lot of the times I felt like I had to dim my light. A lot of people, even growing up, couldn't really deal with who I was. Whereas for you, you do support me in that area, but keeping my individuality in hindsight of that. I don't know if anybody heard of it, but I coined the term. Coined the term, I should say, wife's guilt.
Wife guilt.
Wife guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then what wife guilt is, like, I'm grinding, like I'm in my individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Before we met, I was who I was. I had my businesses established, but sometimes I do feel guilty where I'm so focused on me
Mm-hmm.
and what I got in my dreams, and I feel guilty for not giving you wife duties. Like, not necessarily intimacy, but the sexual component of intimacy, or
Mm-hmm.
just pouring into your dreams and being that supportive wife that I know I could be and who I desire to be and who I am at core.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel a little guilty when I'm focusing on me individually, versus pouring into you and supporting you in your dreams. So for me, that's still a battle that I'm climbing out of, and I'm really trying to really learn how to master. So for all my OG women, I'm not afraid to ask for help. If you know help in that area, in the sense of how do you keep your individuality, not that I don't know how, and I'll respond to that part of the question, but how do you keep it and not feel guilty? Because going back to your original question, how do I keep it? I keep it by checking me, making sure I'm doing things that I want to do individual. The reason why is because I've had the experience before where I did lose sight of who I was. So I make it my point to make sure I'm tapping into me, doing what I want to do, doing what I love. I like kicking with, my two favorite people in the world when it comes to my friendships. So I'm making sure I'm spending time with them, making sure I flew out the country for the first time last year by myself. So just making sure I still am doing the things I love intentionally, because I know when I'm a better me, I can be a better wife, I can be a better mom, and those type of things. But I do think I'm still struggling in a point when it comes to that wife guilt, where I'm pouring so much into me and not feeling guilty for not supporting you in your dreams. And not because you make me feel guilty, but because of what type of wife I desire to be. And that's that support, 10 toes down, be that supportive wife. But I'm the alpha woman who got her own hopes and dreams. So finding that balance of not feeling guilty. Again, for my OGs, my Michelle Obamas out there, please comment below if you have some suggestions.
Yeah, make sure y'all leave y'all comments, likes, and make sure y'all subscribing, y'all. I mean, if y'all into this conversation, if y'all got some insight on this conversation, please make sure that y'all, put it in the comment section. We love to hear from you guys as well. Again, it takes all of us. Again, we village mentality, so let's bring it all together, y'all. So
Absolutely.
again, so let me ask you this question. How much do your past relationships affect who you are in this relationship?
That's a really good question. That's a good question because until this relationship, I didn't realize a lot. That's why I advocate for women to begin their healing process prior to getting in a serious relationship, because you don't know who you are triggered and unhinged until you really look at yourself in the mirror. So for me, how like the past relationships is just in the sense of I have to check myself about you. But if I didn't start my healing process, I would not have known to check myself about you. And what do I mean by that is, for an example, if I'm calling you and you don't answer, my unhealed version be like, why the fuck ain't answering? Like, what you on, what you with, who this, whatever. That's my unhealed. That's the toxic part of me, and that comes from old prior relationships that I have experienced. So I have to check myself like, well, what evidence did Devon show me that he will be fucking off? What evidence did Devon show me that he didn't care about me? What evidence did Devon show me that I'm not good enough? And all, whatever trigger emotional bullshit that triggers for me, that is kind of where I was with it, where I had to check myself about you, where I had to heal me and heal through my therapy sessions with my therapist on like, why do I think this? Another example would be not only in that lens, but in the lens of when I first started dating you and being with you. I would say for the first year of our relationship, I had to accept that you have a lot of women who love you. And who is in your space that you also love, whether that's the 7 girls you have, your daughters, or best friends, females that you have, or your mom. You have a younger brother, but y'all so many far years apart that is like you were the only child for so long. It's like battling all those different women. And it's like, where the fuck do I fit in? Like, because you are a lover in the sense of you love the women in your life. So I had to battle like, well, where do I fit in that with all this love you're giving to everyone else? And then I know behind scenes, the part of you that you don't allow them to see, I have to step in and be that for you, but they still get the reward. So I think a lot of that I had to kind of the battle with in the sense of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of. Yep.
You said kind of. So
Yeah,
if
no,
it's
it
more
makes it.
to
No, I
it-
just wanted your perspective on like how did your past relationships affect you?
So pretty much, I guess in a nutshell, to answer your question, my prior relationships played a part in our relationship because of those insecurities that I created because of, and then the result of that relationship kind of carried over. but I didn't know until you sparked that trigger, and I'm like, ooh, I got to check myself about this because Devon ain't showed me no evidence of this. And when Devon don't answer, he never showed me what that person showed me. So it's kind of like I got to check myself.
That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. So that's you answer that. That's what's up.
Thank you. So for me, it's like, okay, so I got a list of questions here, but I kind of want to get in the nitty gritty, y'all.
All right. What is
Okay.
it?
So I know you mentioned earlier that you were poly prior to me.
Uh-oh.
You mentioned that. So when we talk about individuality and relationship wise, how did that play a fact? You had 2 relationships where women lived with you, like full blown relationships with 2 women in your home. Here I am on the other spectrum.
Man, it wasn't that cheating and sneaking, man.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
was together in the weather. You
know
know?
what I'm saying? So all of that, like, so how did you, like, now you met a woman, like, I ain't for none of that, you know, in the sense of poly, because I love who I love and I'm very
I
territorial.
mean, if I have to be 100% honest, I was just trying to put 2 people into one. And I just found I had to find as many as I could to make the one that I wanted. You know what I mean? One had these qualities, one had these qualities, one didn't have these qualities, and the other one didn't have these. And again, I was just trying to put my one woman together through 2, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to deal with 2 headaches for real, for real? Again, like, for the unbrave men who don't know how to tell the truth and just gonna go cheat, that's what they searching for. You know what I'm saying? They searching for the other part that they woman or they wife don't got. So they go try to find it somewhere else instead of, again, maybe having a conversation or just, breaking it all off until you find the one that has, again, what they say, 80-20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll be trying to get to 90-10. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's what I was doing. I know that's what I was doing. I was trying to put 2 people and then I was trying to just find 1 out of 2. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really hard for me to transition from 2 to 1 because you had what both of them had and didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and then, again, because I'm a full-fledged man, so I wasn't just, dealing with the women without dealing with their children. So I had both of their children. One had separate children. One had another set of children. Like, one had 4, one had 3. And I brought all that into my house. You know what I mean?
You got 9.
And I got 9. So 4, 3, and 9. It was like 19. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, who would really want that? You know what I mean? But again, when you just in the environment and you know what you know and that's all you know and that's all you think you got and it's all the options you think you have, you just try to grab and make the best. Again, as I say, you try to create heaven in your hell.
Type shit.
You know what I mean? So that's all I was doing, just trying to create heaven in my hell. And again, God was like, hold on, this dude's going a little too crazy.
Going a little bit too crazy. That's how I felt
and
too.
Again, it's unorthodox, but I'm trying to do it ethically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But God, like, hold on, this dude going, hold on.
But I like how you said ethically because I think that's another reason why I was able to look beyond what societal say, what's normal, what's not. As far as, like, I didn't know about poly. I knew a few of my closest friends who entertained it, but never was poly, but dealing with you and you being very transparent and me and you having that real transparency in our conversation initially, I just believe, like, a lot of people think it's taboo, and your desires of what you were wanting for poly and what you were desiring as a result to poly, I think a lot of people would have been like, no, I'm not dealing with that. Where I was just like, I understood it. Like, I get what you're saying. I get it, So I just kind of wanted to shed light on that. A lot of people,
for sure.
know, like,
I know you're like, how she deal with the poly non-kid nigga? Like, what quality he have? And again, like I say, because of our circumstances, sometimes you just travel a path that's, again, that can kind of that can blur truly who you are, and you can't allow that blur to always be in front. You know what I mean? So I had to get in front of my blur again. So I know I got these things, but I'm gonna allow my strengths to overpower all of it. So again, yeah, I got 9 children, but look at me. You know what I mean?
Yes, look at you, because again, society say like, oh, I want a nigga who this and that, whatever. But it's like, sometimes I be forgetting you got 9 kids. Not that you neglect the 9 kids. It's just I'm so into you. I'm so into your person, who you are individually. I'm so into like your spirit, your soul, what you stand for. You ain't never denied them. You even told me about the maybe babies that you found out years later. All of that. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm just
I
getting,
did.
and I know this is
I
our first
did.
episode, and I
I
know as
did.
episodes continue, I'll be more and more who I am. You know what I mean? And not really caring about the mask, as I say in my TED Talk. But as of like, I want to say, share that to the world. Like sometimes as women, we be like, oh, this, that. You don't really know. Like you never made me feel like you had 9 kids. You never made me feel like you had 5 baby mamas. You never any of that, because I understood my position. I understood what you stood for. And I will think that in hindsight, I never made you feel like you was the nigga that came after me having kids and ex-husbands and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think for those who are listening, that's what it boils down to. Like, fuck society. What do you stand for? What could you deal with? What's all of that? Because if I would have been like, oh, he got 9 kids, fuck him, and not giving you a chance to know, like, yeah, you got 9 kids, but you through and through, you mess with your kids. Ain't none of them baby mamas you dipping and dabbing or none of that. That was
Right.
one night stands to people you had relationships with. That was your ex, and that's it. So
Right.
you got to just know who you with, and vice versa. You ain't never had to worry about, oh, am I messing with
This baby.
I wouldn't
daddy.
even say my baby daddies, because really my ex was, and we ain't even got no kids together, who you had to deal with blowing up my phone and stuff like
Your
that.
buddy bonds.
You know
and
what I'm
shit.
saying? Like that
y'all
was
know
the
the women be
one.
having them little buddy bonds and
Right.
shit.
Who went
You
behind my
know,
baby daddies,
it's my
right?
friend.
That was the ones who you
My friend.
right. It wasn't nothing about that nigga for 12 years. It was more so of that.
Them the dangerous niggas
Right,
right there.
right.
Them
It
the
was
niggas
the
right there you gotta
vibe,
watch.
spiritual connection and all of that, right?
Buddy
Going
bonds.
through.
Watch them buddy bonds.
The muddy bonds, the ones who knew.
Buddy bonds.
But I was honest. I'm like, it ain't this one, it's that one. Like we had, but it's either there. And I just love that about us. So, really quickly wrapping up, bringing it to like our togetherness now, right? Even laughing about that, people don't realize that, dog, you my best friend for real. To irritation. Default, like where I'm like, why
Gotta
the
get
fuck?
on your nerves.
Why he telling me this though? Like who he think? Y'all know how like y'all try to be cool with y'all kids, like tell me this, and then when they tell you something, you're like, that's how I be feeling with D. Like, I know we cool, I know I'm your bestie, but dog, like I ain't want to hear about this.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You wanted to hear it.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you said.
Like, you did want to hear it. Cause again, so she'd have told you, you'd have been like, "Why you didn't tell
Okay,
me?"
you want too deep. You want too deep. Ain't nobody talking about that.
But I'm just saying, like,
That is true though.
I want you to know everything, cause I ain't got time to. I don't remember half of it. So again, it's some shit that's gonna pop up. You're gonna be like, Devon, did you? And I'm like,
remember when I talked about it? And I was
damn,
like,
did I?
Remember we had
Didn't
a conversation though, and I'm like, babe, how many women you slept with? And you like, how many women you think I slept with? And I was like 12, 10. You was like, we ain't gonna say that number,
12,
y'all.
10
But I'm just saying, I'm saying that to say like
times 30.
shut the fuck up. Like, I'm just saying, like, no, we that through and through. But I know women, and I know a point in time where I was a woman who would have got, like, offended. Like, nah, this your past. What? How you gonna trip about that? Right?
As I say, man, you know what I say, too. I say, this is my theory. Again, it could be wrong, but this is my theory. But hey, man, that shit wasn't brand new out the package when I got it. So, again, how I'm going to be mad if I just so happen to know the previous owner? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you buy a car and be like, hey, nigga, that used to be my car. You know what I'm saying? You sometimes when you're in small spaces, small cities, small towns, you might know the previous owner, so he can't be mad because your carpet was around the block 4 years
Type
ago.
stuff.
Yeah, literally, my car was around the block 4 years, like 4 blocks, like for
So
years.
literally, and then like even
Three
thinking
blocks
that
actually.
3 blocks,
Three blocks.
19,
Actually
16.
4 blocks because
Oh
it's
yeah,
two
place.
19s.
Right.
It's
So you
two
got to get
19s.
past the 19th
So
place. You got to go to the street, then the 18th, 17th,
so
and
my
15th.
car was around the block
Yep.
my whole life.
Yeah.
So again, you don't think I'm gonna know somebody that she used to deal with or dealt with
But
again,
I think that's
so.
where a lot of people get misconstrued, right? So like when you told me your number, and then a lot of women, like when I say we are best friends, that's learning each other. We're like literally best friends, not learning each other in the sense of we got to learn each other. We're learning how to separate it because women, like you've dealt with, we're in a little, where we grew up in a little small town. Although you traveled the world, you know, but we grew up in a smaller town, and I think a lot of women don't understand how we really are close. Where a lot of women I know, like, I know he bagged you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, and I know how it was, and I know, like, and I think a lot of people don't really get that perspective where a lot of people, it's like taboo to say, like, oh, best friends, like, nah, this my nigga through and through, to a default, like, where I'm like, ooh, what did I ask for this? Like, God, never
We was
mind, I
just
was
in
just
the
playing.
airport. We was just in the airport.
Oh yeah, we just in the airport, and he like, yup. Remember, like, yup. So that was one of the ones I used to woo. Mind you, before that, because I'm who I am. For those who know me, I'm a girl's girl for real. Like, I love women. I love the aesthetics of a woman. I love the energy of a woman. Women are so beautiful, especially if you like a girl's girl. So before you even told me that was just one of your people you bagged, you know, y'all know, like when y'all women don't act like, and men, y'all know, so I don't gotta talk to the men, but women, y'all know, like that one dip, like every now and then, like y'all don't talk to each other for months and a long time, but when they hit you up, is that, or when you hit them up, is that. So he had a little dip in the airport, but before he even told me who she was, I'm like, oh, she cute. Hey girl, like we already have vibe. Y'all know women like eye to eye. Y'all know women when you like, hey, whatever. And then I'm just like, listen, let me tell you about growth. Cause when he told me that was one of his little dips, the toxic me, the old version of me didn't want to like her again. You just liked her. You just thought she was pretty. You just gave her the girl, hey, hi. You know, the head nod women, you know. But just because he used to bag her, that was the old version of me for 1.2 seconds. That used to last in about 5 hours. It used to last like 5 hours. We're like, what? You used to talk to her. Now you got a whole attitude. But I grew. So it only lasted like 1.2 seconds where I'm just like, okay, that's the past. Like, whatever. She's still cute. She's still a girl. But that's just to say back to what you said. Like, no, we best friends for real. Like, where he just had one of his little J. Well, I ain't going to say J.
No, she wasn't no J.
She was no J. She was just your situation.
She was good
A
people.
situation. Good people. Situation. He used to that. And I respect that. Because I will just only hope in my my scenes of one or two people that I will hope to say that I wasn't just a J. I was a situation that they knew was faithful and would just tap in every time. That's why I can't get mad back. Because I was hurt.
No, it was, but no, she was good. No, she was good people, and then
Her energy was good too.
and then the
like,
guy she
all
was
good.
with, I knew him. So
yeah, and her energy
and
was
they
that.
were just good people together. So again, it was
She was
nothing,
beautiful.
and it was nothing that I felt, and it was, that was so long ago. So
Right.
it was nothing like that. I was again, they both are good people. So that shit was beautiful to see.
And you weren't even standing in the gossiping way. You
No,
was
I was
standing like how if you was with your homeboy, like I'm like your
Yeah.
homegirl. Sometimes you be saying, you be having to check yourself sometimes like, dang, this my homegirl, but this ain't my homeboy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so with that situation, I'm understanding she still was that. So that's a great example of really what we are through and through.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, nah, I be knowing these situations of a lot of situations, all baby mamas, all relationships. If we're out just the hit and miss, and I had to a few times.
I can't remember.
Sometimes you don't, but like how you said, you got to keep it funky.
myself some peace.
Yep.
By just keeping it 100. Hey, listen, fellas, if you watching this right now, it was just. I mean, I ain't traveled my 40 years doing this, But when I found this, brothers, it's been peaceful.
Yeah.
Just keep it 100.
Just keep it 100.
Again, that's how again I even got into my poly relationship, if that's what you desire, because I was 100. Listen, I like you and I like you, and I'm gonna keep messing with both of y'all. Y'all figure this shit out. You know what I mean? But again, do it more, more structured than that. But you know what I mean? Just keep it 100. Again, if you lying, I mean, you're scared of a person. So we're supposed to be scared of one person, and that's God.
Yeah.
So again, anything else, again, you just creating hell for yourself. Don't create hell for yourself. Just tell the truth. Just be
tell it.
100 and let whatever fall off, and let whatever align with you come in and align with you. You're going to have it much better, and things going to flow a lot peacefuler, and you ain't going to have to be doing all this other stuff that other niggas is doing. Lying when they want me coming in the room, being this person, who you got to keep with all these different personalities. No, I ain't got time for that. We trying to get some money. We trying to grow legacies. We trying to build empires. We ain't got time to be sitting here still lying to little women who ain't gonna do nothing, can't do nothing for you anyway, and just expecting us again. So that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Well, let's watch.
sir. For me, it's like I'm gonna ask this last question and then we're gonna wrap up. But before I ask the last question, I love what you said, because a lot of men don't believe that they can tell the truth, and a lot of us women don't believe we can accept the truth, right? Because society tells us, oh, he got to be this, 6'9", this, job, one baby mama, this, whatever. But in hindsight, I just encourage people to ask yourself, what do you really tolerate?
And 9 times out of 10, the woman who asking for that don't even know how to take care of that. So she asking for something she don't even know what she getting herself into. You gonna find 6'9", fine, and all of divine, and he gonna have some requirements, and you ain't gonna fit him.
Yep. He gonna have some requirements, and so what could you tolerate? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your for real deal breaker? It's twofold with that. One, what's your deal breaker in the sense of what society saying your deal breaker should be versus what you, because a lot of us women really, remember I told you, I just want to be done for a real nigga.
The right
you know
nigga.
what I'm saying? The right nigga. I just want to be a dumb bitch for the right nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of us women feel like that. I'm inner city. So that would resonate with a lot of women. For us conservative women, what I'm really saying is, women are women. Society tells us what we should and what we shouldn't deal with. But I know internally what I really would deal with if a person was honest with me and if they treated me with gentle care and I understood my position and my role and they was 100 with me. A lot of us will accept things that society say we wouldn't. So that's what I meant when I said, like, I just want to be 100 and real and down for the right nigga. Like, I want to be a dumb bitch for the right nigga. That's what I meant. I said, but it's going to take the right nigga to understand what I mean and not take advantage of me. Because when I feel played, then you get another side of me. You understand? So I think a lot of women deal with that. So I want to just encourage those women to sit with yourself, see what you really tolerate, start working on you, know what you tolerate, and forget society. Like, blank out society norms, blank out what society think you supposed to do or not. You know what you can tolerate. Quit breaking your own heart. If that's what you would tolerate and accept, own that. And that's okay. We break our own hearts when we want to live this standard that society say we supposed to live, the exception that society say we're supposed to live, the standard that society say we're supposed to live. So that's where we mess up. But I want to answer this last question, and then I kind of want to wrap up a little bit. The last question that I want to ask you is, we both sacrificed a lot, Devon. Like, even, okay, you were poly, I was turned into a nun. We got together. We knew the importance of figuring out each other, and finding each other, balance or whatever. But I want to kind of just talk about briefly, what's the biggest sacrifice that either of us have made for the other person's goal. So for an example, what have you sacrificed, or what have you put to the side to make sure that I fulfill my goal, and then vice versa?
Well, something that I put aside to make sure that you fulfilled your goal. I think this is clear. Everybody else.
Everybody else.
That's what I put this aside. I put aside everybody else to make sure that I had the time, resources, energy, and everything else, mental stamina.
What the fuck this mean? Like, first of all, what the fuck did this mean? What did this mean? I just want to know. What the fuck does that mean, Devon? What that mean? Y'all saw that? What the hell that mean?
Patience.
What patience?
Y'all see it. Y'all see it. To deal with it. So yeah.
Okay. Do you have any last minute?
Nah, just again, like you say, just make sure you're working on yourself before you get with anybody else. Because again, you gotta look in that mirror before you ever look out a window. So again, I want you to look in these mirrors and learn what you want, know what you want, and then know what you're capable of taking care of. You might want this type of woman or this type of guy or this, but can you take care of that? Do you have what it takes to sustain that type of person and character and lifestyle and everything else that comes along with it? And again, don't judge a book by its cover. Again, we never know what the packages is. I could look at her and say, "You've been married before, got these kids, and she could look at me and said the same thing. So again, sometimes we gotta just look a little bit deeper. And that's again, I didn't think people would because I think people do look at the cover so much. I didn't think I would find someone because again, as soon as the first conversation of, hey, how you doing, what's your name, how many kids you got, I thought it was over for me. But again, it takes somebody who really truly and tap with themselves and know how to look deeper and look at integrity and look at morals and values and everything else to know how to pick the right fruit for you. You know what I mean? So that would be my my 2 cents for anybody out there. Don't judge a book by its cover, and understand you got to read the pages and understand the chapters. So again, and that will tell you your story.
I like that. So for me, I'll talk about the sacrifice and then give my number one takeaway. So for the sacrifice I have to do, in regards of me as an individual for the sacrament, for the sacrifice of our relationship would be, I think that I had to sacrifice my alpha,
Mm-hmm.
my alphaness, if that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is I'm a doer. I
Mm-hmm.
get things done. Like by any means necessary, I'm gonna get it done with integrity. Those who know me know my character is always intact, but I'm gonna get it done. If I said I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've learned through our relationships that can kind of not be all so much the case. For an example, if I'm telling somebody, my mom or my faves or my mentors or my friends, this gonna get done. Mickell gonna make sure it get done any means necessary, but I have to sacrifice that point because now I gotta take my husband in consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I said I can cover your college tuition,
Mm-hmm.
but what the fuck my husband said about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I do that, then that. So I think I had to sacrifice being everyone's superhero. For our relationship, not meaning I can't be there for them,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a difference between being there for people you love versus being their superhero.
And just operating like we used to operate by just being so solo proactive.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to be more together proactive and in alignment with things and
Yeah,
decisions.
but that helps us with boundaries too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about all the people I've helped,
Mm-hmm.
even in the midst of us, like literally taking care of people, letting them live with me, sending them money, they ain't got to cover rent, all type of stuff, without thinking that I had to consider you because I felt like it's my money. I can do what the fuck I want to do versus, and vice versa. So I think that's one of the things that I had to sacrifice of that individuality of being that alpha. Like, I can stay on my own. I can pay for what I want to. Before you, I took care of my whole family. You know what I mean? Like, so after you and during you, I'm going to take care of my whole family, but having to understand you got to kind of talk to your spouse because where I fall short or if I got to focus on my family and now my alphaness is kicking in where it's interfering with my submissiveness to you because that guard is up when I'm in grind mode. That's what I think I had to sacrifice, not in a negative way, but I had to sacrifice that for the betterment of our relationship. Having that cut conversation like, this is what such and such is thinking. How do you feel about this, babe? Versus me feeling like prior relationships and prior lifetimes before, I can do what the fuck I want to. I make what I make. I do what I do. I'm a boss through and through. Like, but having enough respect to understand who you are as my alpha man and you gonna take care of home and you a different kind of breed that I gotta bring stuff to your attention. So I think that was the biggest sacrifice And then wrapping up with my takeaway, I would say for those individuals who are in a relationship or looking for a relationship, I would say that work on you. A lot of us women want what we see in hopeful romance novels, whether we're reading a book or we're looking at a movie. A lot of us want what we want because we make this fairy tale in our mind, but a lot of us don't work on us. So my advice in a nutshell is to work on you. Know what you want, know what you desire, and be open that when you meet someone in regard to you working on yourself, they're going to open up some vulnerabilities that you thought you healed from or you didn't know exist. And because of that, you have to be open to healing that version of you as well. And until you begin on working on you, you will never, and I'm going to be bold in saying this, you will never find what you are seeking for if you haven't started working on you, because you will never realize what you have in front of you, and you will never realize what you deserve if you have not worked on you. So that would be my overall advice for any individual who are looking for a partnership, is to work on you first, to understand your individuality, and then work on that bond you have with that other individual. And again, I know this episode was very soft and chic and letting the viewers know about who we are, but I think that this is a great first episode for those
Yeah, I think
individuals
it's
to know.
dope. I think it's
Yeah.
dope. We're going to build off of this. We're going to grow from this. Again, we got a lot more to add to the show anyway, and things that we want to bring to it, and laughter and things of that nature. But again, you know what? We got to break the ice and let people know who we are, break our podcast virginity here as well. You know what I mean? So y'all helped us. Y'all are first.
Y'all first. We broke our virginity, babe. We broke our virginity. Yes, I love it. We broke
We
our
broke our
virginity.
podcast virginity, and we did it with you. So thank you again. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, as we are going to drop more episodes. We're going to have more conversations. We're going to keep it more real. We're going to be more transparent. Yeah. And again, we're going to just get some different perspective. And again, and we need you guys to kind of help us do that. So make sure that you're here. Make sure that you comment. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you tell somebody, because, yay, man, we going to put a dent in it.
Period. We putting a dent in that, y'all. But y'all know how we keep it real, funky. But this first episode, we just wanted y'all to understand who we were, individuality, in our individualities, as well as togetherness. We are going to come with the raw, the uncut, just keeping it real. We'll have different segments. We know we got the battle of the sexes and things like that when we talk about just love songs, love battles.
We doing our versus battle. Yeah, we doing our versus battle. We doing our love wilding out. We we bringing so much to you. And then we're going to do our surveys, because again, as we travel, y'all know we travel a lot, and we're going to be starting to ask other people, other couples, other, little situationships. We're going to ask them their opinions so we can kind of get a world consensus on, some of the things and topics that we talk about. So stay tuned. Make sure that you come back right here. Make sure you get that like, subscribe, hit that bell notification when we drop these new episodes, that you get the notification so you can come back right here and put a dent in it with us. Y'all remember how it go, y'all. The world is watching. We're going to give y'all something to see.
So before we close out, babe.
That's how we supposed to close out.
That's how we close now, but you're going to run this back and then you're going to edit it.
No, I ain't.
You are.
Okay, no, I ain't.
Okay, no, he ain't. Y'all see that? You got to know what you're doing. Because, again, this is our first episode, so y'all going to see the uncut version, babe. You got to post this uncut. Okay. My thing is, in closing, we have to close with our announcements. Remember, we said the first episode, we're at least going to tell them what's up and coming.
We could have cut to that.
Okay, cut.
No. Okay, our announcements. Hello, we're back. And today, what's our announcements?
What you got coming up, and then what I got
coming up?
I think you got something March 2nd coming
March 2nd?
up. I think so.
Man, March 2nd, y'all make sure that y'all in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we are coming together. I don't have something coming up. We have something coming up. You gonna just do your lip gloss on the show?
Why? It's a podcast. You said it's not a show, so I thought that I didn't have to That's why I even got on sweatpants. I got on Expect Success sweatpants.
Make sure that y'all in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, y'all. March 2nd, y'all, we're going on tour all year, 2025, and we starting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, March 2nd at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, yo, where they pay big. So again, that's where we gonna go play big. And if you're ready to play big in your life and level up and go big in your life, then I want to see you there March 2nd. If you're not in town, fly in. But hey, we ready to win. So make sure that you in the building to win with us. We got Prepare 25. If y'all was at Prepare 24, that was a sold out, sellout event. So again, we could not let it die. We had to bring it back. So it is back. Prepare 25. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, March 2nd. Make sure that you get your tickets because I'm sure this will sell out fast as well. Again, we got more room. We got more seats. Again, we got a beautiful ambience. We got a beautiful view, beautiful room. And hey, all we need is the beautiful you.
Hey, I like that. 5 p.m. Make sure y'all show up. I love that because those who were a part of Prepare 24, y'all already know what we coming with. And y'all know the dent. So y'all know we're going to put a dent in everything that we pursue. And lastly, ladies, my Boss Fly girls, my BFG girls, we are sold out for BFG Evolution in Atlanta. Yes, we are sold out this year. However, because of popular demand, I have extended it where you're able to get an exclusive VIP access to the weekend of BFG Evolution happening in the end of July, early August. If you are interested in that, I need you to visit me at MickellD.com and register for BFG so I can know you're interested in that. Or feel free to inbox me. My social media platforms is Therapist Mickell D.
All that's on the bottom right here in the description.
Y'all know how he do. Always be marketing.
Make sure that you take all of our handles is right here in the description. Make sure y'all find that because she was finna be long. Y'all.
I was finna be long-winded, y'all.
I just had to live.
You know, that's the man version, but y'all know the woman version. We want to give details, but I'm informing. Excuse me, because I'm informing my women, and I know how my women talk. So y'all BFG for the man version. Let's edit that part out, and y'all can get the description.
We're gonna show them all this.
Comment below. It's in the comments below, y'all. At the top, BFG. Y'all gonna see how to do
BFG, man. Make sure that y'all in the group, man. Make sure that y'all there. But yes, I am so proud she sold out fast of her evolution, so we had to make some more room and extend the day. So make sure that y'all there. All right, all the links is in the description, all of them, the handles, the everywhere we at. Make sure that y'all there. All right. Hey man, can we say it now?
We can say it.
You started. The world is watching y'all. We're gonna give y'all something to see.